Hi, I'm John Maddox. I teach life science at the Collegiate School of Medicine and Bioscience in St. Louis, Missouri. And today we're going to be unboxing the 4D human anatomy stomach and digestive system model. So, there aren't really many resources out there online to really look at this model and what's actually inside it and sort of give it a review. And so my goal is to help you decide if this is something that you might be able to use in your classroom. Okay, so here are the pieces that it comes with. This model, I can tell you straight off the bat, is not one that you're going to want a lot of students to be manipulating by themselves entirely because it is a little bit fragile. But it's also highly detailed. So for example, this piece, which comes all together, is the stomach, obviously, and it has this plastic plate here that allows you to see inside of it while maintaining the outer dimensions of the stomach. But this plastic is fairly cheap and it's very brittle. You can tell immediately from sort of working with it. And so, students manipulating it a lot might be able to break off some of these small tabs that hold it together. In which case it won't go back on there. So just be mindful of that. I think it works more as a demo for students than it does as something that they interact with sort of on their own. But you know your students the best. So I just want to kind of explore this piece just a little bit to show you what it looks like. So it has some little vein molding on it, which is pretty neat, and it comes off and goes on pretty easily and stays on. Once you remove it, the stomach has some pretty cool detail. As you can see, the different muscle layers of the stomach are represented. You can also see the different layers of the stomach in cross-section here after I've removed the plate. And then you can see this sort of wrinkled mucosa of the stomach inside there. If I go ahead and pull on this, I can actually I can pull the stomach apart, and again you can see the layers of the stomach, the tissue layers in cross section, and you can get a really good look at the inside of the stomach, at the mucosa. One of the really, I think, impressive things about a model that's so cheap, so affordable, is that the holes are the tubes are completely real and there. So there's an entry and an exit to the stomach. They're fully represented, and so the kids can kind of look at that and see what's going on in the stomach. So that's a really neat one. I'm going to go ahead and put it back together. Also, this material here is a very rubbery plastic. I mean, it's very rigid, but it feels more like rubber to the touch. It is a little bit flexible, unlike this plate here, the clear plate, which is pretty brittle. Put that aside for a minute. So here we have the duodenum this is not a complete tube, so it's not hollow, but there is some art to show the different layers of the intestine, and also sort of kind of what the opening, the lumen, would look like to look into, even though the lumen isn't really there. You do have another clear plastic plate right here. It's very hard, clear plastic that you can remove, which I think is pretty impressive, and then you can get a view inside the lumen of the duodenum here. And so again, you can see tissue layers and you can sort of see what that's supposed to look like. It just doesn't go very far in there either direction, but I was impressed by that level of detail. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back on. Okay. The last really sort of major organ piece that you have is the pancreas. So here you can see sort of into the pancreas, the pancreatic duct, which is pretty cool. The surface of the pancreas, the size of the pancreas, I thought was pretty impressive. The level of detail is really good for a model that I paid at least less than $20 for, and so you really can't beat it when the next best thing is 100 or more. So let's go ahead and put this together. It seems like the easiest way to go about this is to start with the pancreas, and you're going to put the vein on. So if you look on the back of the pancreas, you'll see that there are several holes. Those holes correspond to tabs or posts on the vein, and we're just going to go ahead and insert the vein into those posts, into the holes on the pancreas, so that now it's sort of one unit here. I'm going to put that aside for just a second. I'm going to pick up my aorta, Okay, you'll notice that the aorta has these two big posts here. Those are for the stomach, and then it has two holes. Now those holes are for your two artery pieces that you have here. So the small one goes at the bottom near the renal arteries that are coming off of the aorta piece. So I'm going to go ahead and just push that artery into that hole. Okay, and again I'm going to take this artery and I'm going to put it in this slot up here, and I'm going to go ahead and slide it all the way in so that it's firmly seated. If you don't get it all the way in there, it won't fit on the stomach correctly, so make sure you go ahead and do that. The next part is to go ahead and attach the duodenum to the pancreas. This is way easier to do right now than it is to try to do later after the pancreas or the stomach are attached to other things, because you've got to use a fair amount of force to insert the tabs on the pancreas into the duodenum, and that's just really hard to do when there are a lot of other structures attached. Now that I have my stomach put together, or it's already put together, but I've assembled my pancreas, duodenum, and vein complex, and I have my aorta with the associated arteries all ready to go, I can move on to the next step. And the next part of this is that you're going to attach your pancreas and duodenum unit to the stomach. So you'll notice these posts on the back of the stomach correspond to these large openings on the back of the stomach. And so if I line up my duodenum and my stomach exit, I can go ahead and push that together. And you want to pay special attention over here to make sure that you mate the duodenum to the stomach properly. It's not the easiest thing to do. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to put the artery on. And this is honestly one of the more challenging parts of this. So the artery here has some small posts on the back of this small artery here, and then there are posts here on the aorta, and then there are posts on the top of the stomach and the top of the pancreas that correspond. And so you have to slot the aorta behind the pancreas, but also this little vein has to go over the existing vein on the pancreas, and so you're going to push that tab in, post in. I'll push my major posts into the back of the pancreas, trying not to put too much force on the stomach or the brittle plastic parts. There we go. Okay, so now you see that this vein here is laying on top of the stomach and the pancreas, and the posts that it has are inside the small holes on both. On the bottom, the small vein here should come off and go downward, and I have almost a complete stomach and digestive system assembly here. And so what I'm going to do last is, if you turn the stomach over and you look at the bottom, there's a small hole, and our stand, our clear plastic stand, just goes in that hole. Again, try to be careful not to push on the wrong structure. And I have my plastic base that I'm able to fit the stand into. And so there we go. There you have it. A complete 4D stomach and digestive system model. I mean, obviously it's not the entire digestive system, but you've got the duodenum, the pancreas, and it's this is where a lot of digestion does occur, a lot of enzymes are produced, and it should be a really fascinating talking point for your class, and all for less than $20. So that's it for the stomach build of the 4D stomach and digestive organ model. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something and are able to make a better decision on whether or not this model will work for your classroom and what you're going to do. For me, I think I'm going to use it to make a demo video for my students and go through the different structures and aspects of the digestive system, or at least some of the most active and integral parts of the digestive system. Obviously, it's not all of it. And then also to make it available to some students one-on-one during tutoring to learn the digestive system.